Hi, this is Joe Jencks, and welcome to Woodstock Wednesdays. It's been my pleasure to play at the Woodstock Folk Festival over the years, a festival that was founded in 1986 by Amy Beth and Melody Ladd, and it's become an institution in the folk community in Northern Illinois and beyond. I'm sorry that we can't gather together this year in person, but there's such a beautiful legacy that this festival holds, and it's great that we can continue it in many ways this year. And we look forward to being together again with you next year in person. One of my favorite memories of the Woodstock Folk Festival was standing on stage with Tom Paxton the year he received a Lifetime Achievement Award and singing songs with him. Like many, I grew up hearing Tom's music, and he had a huge influence on my life and on my work as a professional musician. And so any opportunity that I get to spend in conversation with Tom or hanging out with him, talking with him about history, talking with him about current events, always time well spent. And the Woodstock Folk Festival fosters an environment where those conversations are possible. So I have a lot of gratitude in my heart for the festival. And in that spirit of Tom's music, where he speaks both to adults and to younger audiences about very complicated things, I thought I would offer a few songs that I wrote with school children in Waukegan, Illinois, earlier this year. These are songs that are about notable Americans, and this being the week of the 4th of July, seemed like a good idea. So the first song up here is called Peanut Man, and a lot of people know George Washington Carver and know his work with the peanut, but he took out even more patents for inventions, things he created with the sweet potato. And I find that totally interesting. And so did the kids I was working with earlier this year. This is called Peanut Man. Back in 1864, Diamond Grove, Missouri, a boy was born in slavery. He would change the world. Very first African-American to enroll at Iowa State. He earned a bachelor and a master's degree. He really changed his fate. Peanut Man, sweet potato man. Cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants and make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, he was a good man to know. He became a scientist, a botanist profound. He loved to solve big mysteries with what grew in the ground. Sweet potato rubber, candy, soap, and glue. A professor at Tuskegee, a man whose heart was true. Peanut Man, sweet potato man. Cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants and make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, he was a good man to know. When the farmers grew all cotton, nearly killed the soil flat, he told them to grow peanuts to put the nitrogen back. Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom. Pay attention to the things you learn. Someday you're gonna need them. Peanut Man, sweet potato man. Cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants and make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, he was a good man to know. Peanut Man, sweet potato man. Cared about people, cared about the land. Loved to work with plants and make things grow. Dr. George Washington Carver, was a good, good man to know. There you go, Peanut Man. Here's another song that came out of the workshops that I led in Waukegan earlier this year. It's called We Are the People, and it seems a fitting song for the week of the 4th of July. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. We have the right not to be judged by the color of our skin, or by the language that we speak, or our country of origin. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman helped to lead the fight to ending slavery, railroad to freedom, justice always in sight. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. Sylvia Mendez and Cesar Chavez, students and workers unite. Ruby Bridges and Jackie Robinson led us into the light. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. We carry it forward into the future. We are the voices and hands, singing for freedom, working for justice all throughout the land. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. Here's one more from the workshops in Waukegan. This one's called You've Got to Vote. And let me tell you, you've got to vote. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Susan B. Anthony said women have the right to vote in elections. We will stand and fight. She was arrested. She showed courage and might. She was brave and said the revolution is in sight. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. When we vote, we get to choose leaders who represent our communities and views. But if you don't participate and let your voice be heard, it may not turn out how you want. Your vote is your word. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. The Voting Rights Act passed in 1965. People of all colors from every walk of life have the right to vote. We get to have a say in how to run the country. We will bring the greater day. You've got to vote. You've got to vote. Don't stand on the sidelines. Don't be remote. You know it's your right to exercise your power. So get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Yes, get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Yes, get yourself involved. Go out and vote. Go vote. Thank you for joining us for this Woodstock Wednesday, and please stay tuned to the Woodstock Folk Festival website for more information about the virtual 2020 Woodstock Folk Festival and about more Woodstock Wednesday events. I will see you next year in person at the Woodstock Folk Festival. I hope you will be there as well. A huge shout out to the Woodstock Folk Festival Board of Directors and to Carol Obertebessing, Mary Sherman, Leslie Cook, and Julie Roberts, all doing a lot of work behind the scenes to help keep this community together. I'm going to wrap up the segment with one more song, a song that I wrote about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, truly one of the great patriotic Americans. Many people don't realize that his determination to effect racial justice in this country for the better began when he was a boy. His best friend was white, and when they were 6, he was sent off to a black public school, and his best friend was sent off to a white public school. And his best friend basically disowned him at that point. He learned a kind of racism and indoctrination in that process. And it broke Martin's heart. He missed his friend, and he became suddenly painfully aware of the injustices in this world. And so at the tender age of 6, he dedicated himself to changing that in this country and around the world. And he gave everything he had, the full final measure of devotion, as is said, in service to this country and in service to humanity. So on this special, when we are thinking about what it means to be patriotic here heading into the 4th of July, I want to sing about Martin Luther King. This is a song I wrote on the 50th anniversary of his assassination. It's called simply Martin. January 15th, 1929, born in the city of Atlanta. Just another preacher's kid singing in the choir. This kid had a vision, reach for something higher. 6 years old when segregation put him in his place. Started school and lost his childhood friends, questioning the order of society and faith. Many deeper truths which one cannot escape. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep holding on to what you know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Booker T. Washington High School was the place. He began to raise his voice on poverty and race. Headed off to Morehouse, a 15-year-old sage, chasing dreams of dignity beyond his youthful age. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep speaking up for what you know is true. living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Studying the sacred word challenged him to grow. He headed for Montgomery toward a fate he could not know. City buses, boycotts, peaceful marches in the street. A bomb thrown through a window, a crown of thorns laid at his feet. Albany to Birmingham, St. Augustine to Selma, Boston, New York City, Chicago and D.C., carrying the burden and the banner of equality till 1968, April 4th, Memphis, Tennessee. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Happy 4th of July, everybody.